Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I've been decluttering my studio here. You know, we all get too many art supplies, so I found these canvas panels and I was just wondering how they would work with watercolor. So stick around, we'll show you how they come out. Okay, so I went through my stash and I found these canvases that I had picked up at Hobby Lobby during, their 50% off sale of Master's Touch stuff. So I had a ton of them, so I decided to see if watercolors would work on this. I had particularly purchased one that said watercolor canvas panels. I was looking at it compared to, it says acrylic prime for use with all mediums. And then I looked at this one and it just says canvas panels, acrylic prime for use with all mediums. So I thought, this one has a little bit different texture. I don't know if you can see the texture on that compared to the smooth texture of this. So I just decided to try it. Now I've wiped this one down with water. My first experience with it was beating up, just like it would on a plastic palette. So I took a paper towel with some water and I just, wiped it down. And I had seen that tip on, another YouTube channel. I think it was the Art Sherpa. Anyway, she said when you get a canvas panel, always take it under running water. Take it under running water and just kind of rub that in, because they spray something on it to protect it. So that's what I did. I'm gonna get some paint, and I've got a little mix of cerulean blue and French ultramarine, and I'm gonna try it here. Here we go. And it worked, it worked. I was able to get a nice pattern. So one thing and I had to reload frequently. One thing that I wasn't able to really successfully get, I have to get around here to get that even. I wasn't successfully able to get a good flow. It's not flowing good like it would on watercolor paper. But I could go in and get multiple layers after it dried and get multiple layers for some definition and shadow. So here is one that I did on the same surface. I think it's just primed with gesso. And then I was able to go in and get more detail and more layers into this to give it more dimension to the flower. Now, here's the kicker. After I did this leaf and had it all outlined with micron pen, I just did some pen line and wash techniques here. And I went in and this paint just lifted right up. I could just wash it off. So now in some instances, you can do that with watercolor paper too. If it's certain pigments, they lift easily. However, this will, if I wanted to bad enough, I could wash this completely white. I thought, how could I get my watercolor to stay? So I did another painting. I just covered it with, I did a spray of Kmart Krylon varnish, non-yellowing, and now my painting is permanent. Now I won't be able to go back over with watercolor because it won't stick. It will just bead up. And it will wipe off. I think to be able to do that, you're going to want to get all your layers down prior to varnishing your piece. But I think this turns out pretty. So I didn't think that this was a total fail. So then I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it on this. This was the one that just said canvas panels. And it did stick, and I am able to go back and add other layers to that and get some dimension. So I would still have to do the same thing. Now I went straight in this. I didn't wipe it off with water, but you might be able to do that and get a little bit more adhesion to the surface. But I still think it's going to wipe off because it's acrylic. Acrylic is a plastic polymer. So it is always going to like dry to a plastic. But I still think that's pretty. I decided, now this has a little bit different texture, but I still think it would work. I think that this would be really pretty with different colors of flowers on it and go around it like I did with this. I might do it with a Sharpie instead of a micron because this does have more texture and it might tear up my micron nib. This was even a little hard on it. And then I would still want to go over it with that layer of varnish, maybe even two, to assure adhesion. Another thing I did was I just was experimenting, and I took some watercolor on this canvas panel and I just put some washes down, did some flow tests and some salt tests. Salt worked a little bit, but not so much. But I think it's a pretty, background. And I think it would be pretty in it with some trees or whatever, or even with some mixed media. Your watercolor is still going to lift. It's going to lift off of this. And it's going to come right off. And you can see where I tried to do that, or I tried to move my piece a little too soon and I stuck my thumb in it and it came right up. So just be mindful, you can paint on it with watercolor. However, it is going to lift until you have a protective coating on the outside, such as varnish. And I would only do a spray varnish because any type of brush varnish is going to lift this watercolor. So, and it's just going to smear it around. So that was a cool test. I'm going to put these to use, and I'm going to do some up and give them as gifts to my grandkids. And hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.